but I think we're good.
Ready?
All righty. Let's make sure everybody can hear you fine, and then you can take it on.
I was what?
Sound check. It's okay. Go ahead.
Can everyone hear me? Thumbs up. Yep. All right. I was 12 years old, and when I first learned how to triangulate, I didn't know what it was. I couldn't name it, but what it meant was that the first time, for the first 12 years of my life, it was me and my father and my mother. And the way the system worked then was Dad was in charge of the discipline. So if I did something stupid, I had to face my father. And if I lied, I had to face my father. And if I got a bad grade, I had to face my father. And there was always this facing of the doom of my father. And then at 12, my dad, he had to move to Utah to get a different, he wanted to become a mechanic. He used to clean the airplanes, and then he got his A&P license, and they didn't have any mechanic jobs in Seattle, so he had to go to Utah. And at this time, I'm in 7th grade, and my dad goes to Utah, and he's gone, and it's me and my mother. And I would make mistakes, and then I would have to convince my mother to keep those a secret, so that Big Bad Dad didn't come home and get mad at me. And we wouldn't see Dad very often. We would only see him every other weekend. So Mom didn't want to disrupt everything. So I knew I had it pretty good, because if I made a bunch of mistakes and did a bunch of bullshit, then Mom didn't want to screw up Dad's weekend when he came home. So Mom began to cover things up for me. So Mom began to be part of a cover up for me. And that was fine. It was not just a light sense of protection and all that. And then I remember I got to the 8th grade, and I was able to convince my parents, both of them, that I had a teacher that was oppressive. So the way triangulation works is that you have an oppressor or something that's difficult, and then you find a rescuer, and the rescuer then comes in to fight the oppressor for you. So that's the way we start working. We start having difficulty, and then what we do with that difficulty, and everyone in this room, if you don't know, just if you don't think you did this, then just ask yourself, who is your rescuer? And most likely you're going to have one person that comes to mind that you call when you're being oppressed. And oppressed can be almost anything. The teacher's treating you unfairly, or life's treating you unfairly, or your friends are treating you unfairly. Hell, I think if I wouldn't have got into drugs, well, I'll get there in a minute, but this then, when I did get into drugs, what happened was I needed somebody to hold me accountable. But my dad I had convinced my mother that holding me accountable was too painful for me. So then my mother saw the way my dad holding me accountable, and I guess maybe he didn't do it with enough love, or he didn't do it soft enough. So I was able to convince my mother that the pain of what would happen if Dad got to me was just too great. And the pain, and then I had a new oppressor once I got into drugs, and the next oppressor that I had was detox. See, I was able to convince my mother that detox was death. I was able to convince my mother that if you detox from drugs and alcohol, it's the worst pain a human being could go through, and you're going to be, and then, it falls through, because my father would just say, well, what about people that go to jail? They all make it. But, nowadays, that's the new oppressor for drug addicts is the detox. So now you convince your rescuer. If you're a good drug addict, you've got a rescuer that's convinced that you can't possibly detox, and it's too hard for you, and they'll do anything to protect you from that pain. So your rescuer will be right there to say, well, detox is really hard, and they've been through a lot. The next thing you need to continue on with this triangulation is you need some events. Along the way, you need some events. You need some losses. You need some traumas. You need things to happen So that when the rescuer sees those things happen, the rescuer then begins to fight your traumas for you. And they take your pain away. And the rescuer says, you're alive. And the rescuer then believes and kind of thinks that they're better than you. Now, people don't do this consciously. People don't think I'm better than you consciously. But the rescuer thinks, you poor sick little thing. You're not strong enough. You need to do it the easy way because you're a weakling. So going on through it, I had my mother convinced that I have drug addiction plus, that the depression and mental stuff was too great for me, and the other drug addicts that made it, that was just because they didn't have the kind of addiction that I had. And the thing about drug addiction rescuers is it goes on until you piss off the rescuer. And all of our addictions go on until you piss off the rescuer enough. And when you piss off the rescuer enough, they turn on you. When they turn on you, they get very angry and they stop rescuing you. And that's when addiction ends. So that's the beginning of the end for addiction, when your rescuer is too pissed off to continue to save you. So lo and behold, as I went through, I got sober, and what happened to get sober was my mother stopped rescuing me. And she let my father have full access to me. And she said, do what you got to do with the kid. And then my dad took back over and he did it. But for 17 years, my mother fought my father every step of the way. Everything he wanted to hold me accountable for, she protected me from. Everything. Big bad dad was really, really a mean guy. And little Art was oppressed. And I learned how to triangulate. So that's how I got through my addiction. And I did it till I got to be 37 years old, till I finally pissed off my rescuer enough. And when I pissed off my rescuer enough, she stopped. Dad had full access with me, and the addiction thing is over. But see, we're in a whirlwind right now. Ultimately, as I got sober, what I learned was there was a name for what I was doing. It was called Cartman's Drama Triangle. I didn't know it. I didn't know what I was doing, but that's the name for it. It's called the Drama Triangle. And the Drama Triangle is that there is this triangle, and in the triangle is the perpetrator, the victim, and the rescuer. And it's what happens when we subconsciously don't know what we're doing, but we end up in one of these positions. So as you come here, everyone is forced to face pain. And, I bet if I wouldn't have got into drug addiction, my mom would have still never got pissed off enough to not be my rescuer. So I imagine if I got married and I was 40, that I could call my mother and she would talk to my wife for me. You know what I mean? I could call my mom and go, wife's being me, mom. Give her a call. And men doing this to this day. People that can't stand their, I bet Liz gives mom a call when Big Bad Travis is oppressing, and this system, works. It's completed. So we say, well, America has really become a place of victims. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And it's become a place where getting validated is tough. Making a difference is tough. Mattering is tough. You can't matter in America anymore. They've eliminated the middle class and down. So you don't matter anymore. And people have forgotten how to matter. So now what do we do? Because I don't matter. The only way I figured out anymore how to matter is to say how badly I'm being oppressed. See, that's the only thing I can do. I can say how bad I got it, how hard I got it, how difficult my pain is, how much trauma I've had. But see, you need something to complete the system, because you can't just do that. So you can't just be a victim. You can't. You cannot be a victim without a rescuer. So you have to have somebody that's going to listen to your goddamn bullshit. And they listen and they complete the triangle, because you can find an oppressor anywhere. You can find an oppressor anywhere you want. You could be oppressed at any job. You can be oppressed anywhere you want to go in this society. And you could play the victim to anything. But you can't do it without a rescuer. And if you notice, what will happen is that triangle will be completed. And the victim will have a switching rescuer all the time. They will update to a new one, because somebody will be trying to take that person's pain away. Somebody will say, come in for the save, but they will see that the person doesn't want to be saved. They will see that the person wants to be miserable and be a victim because that's how they're being validated. So they will give answers and solutions, and they'll say, let's go to therapy. Let's take you here. I'll take you to the meeting. I'll sit there in the meeting with you. In fact, you don't even have to go to the meeting. I'll just go to the AA meeting for you. You don't have to go to therapy. I'll go to the therapy session for you. You just lay home and watch TV. And so the rescuer gets to be, and so I don't know if we have a system of victims in America anymore, but we do have a disease of rescuing. No one anymore can hold anyone accountable. Today I went to this thing called stretching. I don't know what the name is.
FST.
FST. I went to this thing
Fascial
called
stretch therapy.
FST.
Fascial stretch.
I'm there to be stretched, mind you. So I get there and I notice as I'm walking in that the table has a strap on it. I was like, okay, that's weird, but it's got a tie down.
The mental hospital.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. And so she goes, lay down on your back. So I lay down on my back, and then she starts to begin to stretch me. But every stretch, everything she does, she stops and she asks if I'm hurting. Are you in pain? And finally, I was like, you don't got to ask me anymore. You're stretching me. The pain of being stretched is happening. Yes, that's what's happening. You stretch my leg in a position that I don't normally stretch it. It hurts. That's what happens when you stretch me. So I had to try to convince her to stop rescuing me. Please stop rescuing me. And then it went even further because she goes, now, are you okay with being strapped down? And I go, is that what you got to do? And she goes, yeah. And I go, of course I'm okay with it. What the fuck are you talking about? But see, somebody along the way played a victim to her. Somebody on the way goes, you can't strap me down. And they sued him. And then somebody along the way wasn't able to speak truth and got victimized by being stretched too much, and then complained about the stretcher. And said, I went to the stretcher, but she just did it too hard on me, and she's oppressing me. And then some rescuer listened and said, well, the stretcher can't be stretching people too much. We got to get in there and stop this madness. And so somebody couldn't even have a relationship with the person that they were stretching, that was stretching them. That is to say, to be able to say, please don't do it that hard, do it a little less. They had to then become a victim to the thing that was stretching them. So now they have to set up all these rules at the stretching place so that the lady that's stretching you does not get sued for stretching you. It's true. Mm-hmm. And teachers at school have to set up all these rules. So if they actually tell your kid that he's not the most brilliant, powerful, amazing thing, and they actually criticize the kid for one thing at the school anymore, the school gets sued. So now the teacher, by some rescuer, because the student convinces their rescuer that they're being oppressed by the big bad teacher, and here comes the rescuer. So we don't have a nation full of victims. You can't be a victim without a rescuer. You absolutely need a rescuer. And it's dirty business. It is dirty business. The business that you're up to with your rescuer is dirty. It's a dirty, dirty, nasty, nasty business. You don't know what it feels like to try to help someone and hold them accountable and be undermined by a dirty little victim. When you're trying to hold somebody accountable and make them face pain that they got to face, and somebody comes in to protect them and says, please don't put poor little whoever through this pain. It's brutal. So I learned that it was the drama triangle. I learned that it's a sickness. I learned that it's unhealthy. I learned that your need to rescue, well, you might think you're a hero, is hurting people, is absolutely killing them. It's taking their knees out. It's making a society full of people. Now, our whole society has become the triangle. See? In drug addiction, the whole society is a triangle. See, drug addiction now is the oppressor, and the mean people that say it's a choice are the oppressor. The mean people that say you need to figure it out. The mean people that say, hey, you need to get sober. The mean people are the oppressor. And the rescuers that are trying to save drug addicts and say it's okay to steal and they shouldn't go to jail And there's the rescuer and the drug addicts loving it because they're triangulating the whole thing. Because they're saying it's the oppressor is oppressing me, and they're saying, please save me. And they're making it so a drug addict can just sit on the street, do nothing, not get better, get worse. And they enable that to get worse. So this triangle is prevalent. It's prevalent now in our government. When I found out at 18 years old that you could walk into the EBT office and just get $200, $291. I'm walking in there thinking, what the hell? I've never even tried to get a job. They're just going to give me free money. Of course I'm going to go. Give me it. There's $290 worth of rock stars and beef jerky. Thank you. I can trade that for dope. So the government now is even our rescuer. They can't hold us accountable. There is zero accountability. In fact, nowadays, if you're not a rescuer, then you're actually the perpetrator. There is nowhere in the world where you can try to hold someone accountable and not be considered the rescuer, not be considered the perpetrator, the villain. It's gotten to the point where nobody can face anything when nothing's happening. What is happening? What are we being oppressed? Who's oppressing us? Who's doing it? It just calls out to our rescuers. And the rescuer then calls in and tries to fix the situation. Why would you want that? Why would you want somebody in your life that rescues you? Why wouldn't you tell those people to get away from you? Please stop. Please stop taking my legs out from under me. Please let me speak truth to power. Please don't do it for me. And so we've learned the system so well that anything that's powerful, what we're hoping is, if we complain to somebody else over here enough, that person will make it easier on us by going and speaking and sticking up for us. So it's almost like our rescues have become our lawyers. And we have several of them. And we go, hey, I'm being oppressed, and this is how bad I got it, and this is what a victim I am. And then we're hoping that gets back to the source of power. Whether it gets back to our boss, gets back to me, gets back to dad. See? I hope that you all know that you learned this. I know that you've all used it in your addiction. I don't think you can be a drug addict without using it. I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can even be a human without using this. It's just something that humans do. But there's a name for it. It was come about in the late 60s. It came about with Eric Barron's transactional analysis. And after Eric Barron, Stephen Cartman came up with this triangle, and he saw it very clear. He saw that everyone was just an actor and everyone was playing a role, and that these roles can switch. That at any time your rescuer can become your villain. And at any time your victim that you're helping can become your perpetrator. And you can switch. See, I'm helping somebody. I brought them into my home. They're living in the spare bedroom. I told them they can't use drugs anymore. I was going to rescue them. What happens? You kick them out. You say, get the hell out of my house. I told you couldn't do drugs, and pay me back my watch when you get sober. And now you went from rescuer to victim. And a drug addict will do that to you every time. They'll turn their rescuer into the victim. And the drug addict will go from rescuer to rescuer to rescuer to rescuer until they run out. That's hitting bottom. So when you say a drug addict needs to hit bottom, it means a drug addict ran out of rescuers. Nobody else comes to save the day. Nobody's coming. I don't have one more person I can manipulate and convince that I'm being oppressed. Nobody. But if I had one person that I could convince that I have it bad out here, and if I could get him to bring me $20, if I could get him to Airbnb me a hotel, would you go to treatment? Nope. I'm going to the hotel. I got one rescuer left. It's a beautiful system. But if you're in any part of it, If you're the rescuer, you know you're the rescuer. They used to call it codependency, but they've stopped that these days. They don't even call it codependency anymore. They don't even, with addiction no more, they don't even work on the codependent. They don't even talk about it anymore. It was huge. Codependency was this big thing. You'd get a mother and she has a kid that's an addict and you go, you codependent? That was the whole work. It was all codependency stuff. But now it's everyone. Everyone's codependent. You'll notice we'll do groups here. There'll be the rescuer and there'll be the perpetrator. One person will be talking. One person will go, you're full of shit. And then the other person will go, stop. I've been through what they've been through. You don't know anything. Back off, dude. We'll have it right here in this group. I'll go hard at someone, and inevitably someone will be mad at me for going hard at them. Yeah. See, what you need to qualify as the perpetrator or as the rescuer, what you need is you need to feel superior to the person that you're rescuing. You have to have a superiority about you. You have to think or you have to have a relation. You have to relate. You see, you too feel oppressed. You too have been oppressed by authority. And you get it, and you're going to protect them from being oppressed by the big bad authority. Ooh, there it is. You're angry and you're mad at authority and you haven't ever lined up with authority or leadership. And then you find somebody else that hates authority and leadership and is being oppressed by it. And you go, let's go have a cigarette. Let's go talk. There it is. The person goes, I'm being oppressed. I know, sweet. I know. Life's oppressing you while you sit by the pool. That pool out there is oppressing a lot of people. The hot tub, the food, the warmth, the sun. We got it bad down here. But here we are. But somebody will be in this house and call their rescuer and say they need out. It's too much. Please get me out of here. It's a bad system. The breaking apart of the triangle is the ending of the addiction. It's the ending of the sickness. What do? Well, you practice consciousness. You see what you're up to. You see why you feel the need to rescue. You see why you feel the need to have a rescue. You see it playing out. You see what you're doing. You see how you're manipulating. You see how you're avoiding facing things. You see how you're trying to not speak to power, but you're having somebody else speak to it. Art was mean to me. What do you think the person's going to do that you're telling that to? They're going to come up to me and they're going to go, so-and-so's really needs you to talk to them. Well, why don't they need to talk to me? It doesn't work like that. You need to go seek them out, or you victimize them. They are. See? I learned that at a young age. I did it. Well, I realized that I'm not really being oppressed and that I'm a human being that's capable of facing a lot of things and nobody can take those things away from me. And my pain is my pain. And don't try to touch it. And don't try to take my pain away. I need my pain. I need every bit of it. I need to face it because that makes me who I am. And don't come in here and try to take my pain away. Where is it anymore? Where is that for people? You want to help somebody? Don't take their pain away. How's that? Ever. Ever. Now that's tough, see? I used to get because see, somebody that takes your pain away, they have a good relationship with you. But when they stop taking your pain away, how's the relationship go? When they stop doing it. See? I don't have a good relationship with people. I don't get to say, oh, we have a great relationship. No, because there's a point that there's a point where I have to force pain. See, me and that lady that's stretching me, if she's going to help me, she's got to stretch me. And if I'm going to help people deal with pain, I got to stretch them. And when you're stretching somebody, they don't like feeling that pain. But there's somebody that will always come in and go, don't stretch them too much. Well, what is stretching them too much going to do? What is it going to do? It's going to help them. It's going to loosen them. It's going to make them better. Yeah, don't do it. They can't take it. I can take it, but they can't. They're weak. I'm strong. Stop it, Art. And then I feel bad. See? And the gaslight starts. We're back to last week. You see? Now I imagine if there was other stretching patients and we were all in an inpatient stretching program and she was stretching me, I imagine after I get stretched, I could go out and complain to the other patients that I got stretched too hard. And they would buy in. And if I'm loud enough, I could get the representative, whoever's running the show amongst the patients, to go in and face the oppression for me. And then the person facing the oppression would go into the room and see the stretcher and go, listen, we're being stretched too much. All of us. And by the way, that belt buckle you got, that's got to go. We're going to now uprise and sue you. Well, the belt buckle really helps. We don't care. It's oppression. Well, here we are. All these people needing to face our own pain. Nobody can take it away. And the people benefiting the most are the people that are stretching us. The people that are making us face it. And anyone else is hurting us. And there is not a way around it. Anyone else is telling us that we're weak. So now we can become a bad guy. We can say, face the pain. You have anxiety? Here. You know what happens when you have anxiety? Nothing. Nothing. It's just anxiety. You just sit there. But see, I'm a bad guy. I'm a mean guy for saying that. You know what happens when you're depressed? You're depressed. Nothing happens. Be that. Do that. I can't stop thinking. Well, stop thinking. Well, don't tell them that. Give them answers. Give them things to think about. If you're a rescuer tonight, it's fine. If you're a perpetrator, it's fine. If you're a victim, it's fine. It's just not going to get you anywhere. You can do it as long as you want. You can play around in the triangle forever. Just play around in it. Or you can face life. Your own. Face your pain. Your own. And you can get validation through the only other way that there is to get validation. You know, we don't care anymore. See, the problem isn't that the government took it away from us. The problem is that hard work validates nobody anymore. That to be known as hardworking means nothing. To be known as honest means nothing anymore. To be known as a person of your word means nothing anymore. But to be known as a TikTok influencer is everything. But to actually sit here and get validated the way life really needs to, like the way you need to get validated, like to be a valuable human being, to do the work, to do what you say you're going to do for years and years, and no one ever says, awesome, you did what you said you were going to do, to show up at a job for 30 years and never miss a day and not use your sick leave, to be honest, to be a person of integrity. Nobody gives a shit about that stuff no more. I will sell my soul for a TikTok viral video. I'm going to be rich. Just wait till my TikTok blows up. Did you see how I mouthed the words to the rap song?
How my ass shook.
Hard work? Showing up at a job every day on time? Forget that. Hell no. Honoring what I said I was going to do? Really? Still do that shit? You know, all this stuff in society about people quitting their job. It means they go there, but don't work. They've already quit. It's called quiet quitting. It's what's known how to screw corporate America. Is that honorable? That's what you do? That makes you feel good about yourself? You go to work and you've already quit working there and you see how little you can do? Ugh, that's gross. Yeah, well, they screwed me over anyways by hiring me. I know I went to the interview and told them I'd be a team player and I'm a great player, but on day 2, it's corporate America. They're screwing everyone. Yeah, but you begged for the job yesterday. Now you got it. Yeah, but I don't like corporate America. I know, but you applied. Yeah, that don't matter. I got to get my sick leave. When's vacation? These are the new values. Not a big deal for anyone to just quit. So you can't get validation. Because if you don't get validation through values, if you don't get validation through hard work, if you don't get validation through being a man of your word, if you don't get validation through honor, there is no such thing as validation. It doesn't exist. Because this is the only way to get it. So now what you got to do is you got to be a victim because you can't do the hard work. And that'll get you validated. You just got to explain to everybody how you have it worse than all the other people. And how your pain is greater than theirs. There you got it. All right. I would say I don't know what to say, but I do know what to say.
Open it up. That's a good one.
Just the absolute durability and strength of a handshake, anyone. Where'd that go? You know? Here's my word and this is my hand. We got a bond. Where'd that go? Oh, it said that I wrote a contract up that screwed you. You signed it, dumbass. Well, of course. Of course, we're a nation of victims. Nation of the greatest, most prosperous nation, maybe, in the history of the universe is a nation full of victims. I heard something or other that if you make $40,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of the world in income.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
40,000
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah, top 1%, but we're all oppressed. No. What else is there to you do but use drugs? I gotta feel like I matter, and the drugs help.
You go live in Africa and starve.
Mm-hmm.
That change your mind.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's open it up. We have a couple new families out there. We'd love to say hi. Ooh, right on. Carrie's right away. We love it. Ooh, love when Carrie's here. Come on, Carrie. So see what Carrie just raised her hand. There's a raise your hand feature on your device. You can let us know you have a question. As long as your camera's on, I can put you on spotlight up here just like I did with Carrie. So we can all see you from here. We love seeing you on the big screen from here in Vegas. So anybody out there that has comments, questions, get in line. Go ahead, Carrie. Hey there.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to guess that nobody's surprised that I raised my hand as fast as I did.
We love it.
I don't even know where to start, Art. You probably knew that was coming too.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't even know what to say, but I do.
Yep. So, amen for talking about values. Because they really do matter. And I know they matter, and they matter to us. So, there's so much to say. But you talked about, so rescuer. Hi, my name is Carrie, Mama Bundle, and I've been known as a rescuer. The conversations we've had and the texts we've had, where I am a little bit right now. So I've got a question. You said that there's basically two things that can be said from the addict or the family or the rescuer. So I want to know whose move it really is. Is it the addict to come forward and say, I need to live and make my own life choices. I'm going to work to the right values that are important to our family, or I'm going to work to my own values and I need you to back off? Or is it the family that has been rescuing that says, you know what, I'm going to do you a favor. And it's been handled a little differently this time. And I'm going to step back so that I can make the room for you to take the path that you choose.
Yeah. Here's where the rub lies at this point. As the rescuer stops being the rescuer, nowadays that doesn't necessarily lead to the bottom, because addiction, this kind of stuff, has become escalated in its fear-based properties. So when you, Mama Bundle, don't rescue, what is your next concern? See, what if you don't do it? Then you get to be concerned about how bad it's gotten with these victims in their ability to screw up their life in spite, almost, but their ability, it's almost as if the new thing is, if you put any pressure on me or you don't rescue me, I'm going to light this match, which is going to light my whole life, and I'm going to blow up my entire life, and I'm going to make it so bad that you're going to regret not rescuing me. So I'm going to go smoke fentanyl. I'm going to go whatever it is. And it almost gets us in a position where, yes, we need to stop rescuing, but it's become way more delicate. In the 80s with alcoholism, with cocaine, in the early 90s with all these drugs, it was easy to stop being the rescuer because a guy could just go get drunk and it's not going to die. He's got a long time to get drunk before it's going to ruin his life. So you just stopped rescuing, and they inevitably over a year or two hit bottom. But now as a parent, you worry, okay, my kid's threatening suicide. My kid's threatening to kill themselves if I apply any pressure. So that's how bad it's gotten. If there's any pressure applied, they will destroy their own life as worst they can. And we're not seeing cases where that leads to anything else. So the bottom line is, yes, you need to stop being the rescuer, but it's more how. It's more, what are you rescuing them from? And some things you need to, and some things you can't. And then, yes, they need to get their own values, and actually they need to get values that were already inside of them and raised from you, but they need to reinstate those values and start seeing that those values are the way back. It's sitting right here, right now, keeping your word one day at a time is the way back. It's the way back to respect. It's the way back to validation. It's the way back to everything. To not tell lies, to be truthful, to be honest, to be hardworking is the way back. But now listen, when I say that in this room, I can feel like almost a visceral, is it?
You feel that from the people in the room?
Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but there's almost a feeling of that's a lot of work. You mean one day at a time I got to do everything I'm going to do, or I said I was going to do? You mean I have to honor every commitment? You mean I can't quit? You mean I have to be honest and tell the truth? I mean, this is a tough road. And it's not a road that is paved.
Well, wait. What do you mean it's not paved?
It's not
There are a
paved.
lot of parents on here that have paved that road.
They have. But what's happened is it's gotten overgrown. And society now says, it ain't you that's the problem. It ain't your lies and you're not showing up at work. And it's corporate America. It's the government. It's the oppressors. It's everyone. It's the conspiracy theories. It's everything that's against you. And we get it. And it's okay for you to be a little liar. It's okay for you to not show up. It's okay for you to quit. Because there's oppressors everywhere now. So come on. What are you going to do? You're not going to be able to buy a house. It's 9% interest rate. Don't try. The government's oppressing you. So we have to really talk here. We have to really see how it's setting up for you all. Everyone all along the way is going to tell you it's okay for you to quit.
Except your parents.
Yeah, exactly. But you're just a nag, Mama Bundle. You see?
That's the. And I have a lot more fun when I'm with people that I'm not nagging.
Yeah. You see? It's a way back to everything. But again, society is making it really easy, you know? When I can look on TikTok and I can see some girl that all she had to do was put on a different outfit and she got 10 million views and she's now rich. I see some kid that's on TikTok and he just became a star because I don't know what. Why would I work hard? I'm just going to keep posting my TikTok videos. What I find fascinating is the continual posting of a TikTok video when you only get 19 views. At what point do you get embarrassed and stop? These people keep going. It's like, I'm looking at your TikTok, it has 19 views, dude. Give it up. You're not going to make it.
Didn't even mean to view it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it on accident.
Yeah, it was an accident.
I can't even get that 30 seconds
I
back.
tried to delete my view. You suck.
But this is a fundamental product. This is a product of what we're dealing with. That facing pain is not admirable. Suffering from the pain is more admirable, it seems.
So it seems like the road used to be straight, but now the road has to be like delicately maneuvered.
It does.
Right.
And it has to be encouraged. The pathway has to be encouraged by all around. And it has to be led. And it's a tough road now. Because you can find a rescuer anywhere, anytime, all day. And you can convince anyone that you're being oppressed. In fact, I can go play poker at the Wynn and lose for a week straight and come home and try to convince Angie that I'm being oppressed by the cards.
You are.
You know, that God forbid, these mean cards are all lining up against me. And everyone's against me. And then if Angie's sick, which she's not, because when I come home and try to convince her that I'm being oppressed by the cards, she looks at me with this weird look like I got a disease. And she holds me accountable because she's not sick. She doesn't want to rescue me. That's health. She expects and requires me to face my pain. And she does it herself. She faces hers and I face mine. Who's next?
Hey, Cam. Thanks, Mama Bundle.
She wants to talk for about another 2 hours.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, join us tomorrow night. Here, we got Vegas parents only tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, you will.
You can vent a little bit more. Take a deep breath, Mama. Hey, Cam. Can we get you unmuted? Let's see here. Hey there.
What's up, Art?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, I think it's a good topic. I think I've been through pretty much all three of these positions. You know what I mean? But the most growth is definitely when I've suffered by myself and had to live with my own pain and not had somebody to rescue me.
Well, it's in fact the
I
only.
don't know,
It's
man.
the only way we can.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I learned the most when I was with you guys and getting in those fights with you and pain and realize that this is my pain and I can't call on anybody else to fix this pain. I got to deal with this the only way I know how, and that's, like I said, sitting with it and just figuring out why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. Yeah, this last little 7 months that I had, that little run that I had, there was a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and I'm fixing the damage from that right now, and it's not easy, but it's something that I got to go through on my own. I can't have my mom or anybody else helping me out this time. I got to do this on my own, you know, because I don't know, I feel like I've tried every other way and nothing else has worked. And so if I'm able to just figure this out on my own, I feel like it's just going to be better in the long run.
Well, also remember that rescuing is verbal too. There's just there's a co-signing that is also detrimental. That, you know, people cannot rescue it financially or help you out or anything, but you can complain to them and they'll listen. And you should be very leery. In fact, everybody should be very, very leery of anybody that will listen to them when we complain.
Right.
Because every form of complaining is saying, I'm not responsible for my life. Somebody else is. And when people want to listen to that and will listen to that for us, they're a detriment. They're an enabler.
Yeah.
And they will do it under all the guides, all the alibis. You see. So
kind of like hidden in the dark.
Yeah, whether we find a woman that will do it for us or anyone that will do it for us and give us well, that's an addiction right there. I get addicted to those. And then that's
that codependency you're talking about at its finest, huh?
Yeah. So now we start getting addicted to the people that say that for us, and we start seeking them out whenever we have trouble.
Right.
And they go,
I've been oppressed lately by the licensing agency holding my license again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I love you, Cam.
Love you too, buddy.
Oops, I don't know how to fix that. All right. Thanks, Cam. Who else out there? We have some new people out there. We'd love to say hi. If you're willing to say hello and introduce yourself, you can unmute yourself, get our attention. We'd love to say hi. And anybody else out there with questions, thoughts, comments, anything? This is a great conversation. So let's keep it going.
I think it's important that we mention the way out of this. And the way out of this is always consciousness. This trauma triangle is an unconscious behavior. Nobody knows they're doing it. It's what we do when we're not aware of ourselves. It's what we do to help. It's what we do. It's natural. I did it without even knowing what it was. So it was a natural form of survival. And it's so quick and it's so natural that we do it just inherently. That in our minds, just try to think. Whenever you tell a story in your mind, you're either the victim or the hero in the story. Just go tell a story. Naturally, you will tell yourself, whether it's a story about work or it's a story about your relationship or it's a story about anything, you will put yourself in one of those roles. Naturally. Actually, there's 3 roles that you'll put yourself in. You're either the victim, the hero, or the judge. And so whenever you tell a story about yourself, you will put yourself in one of those positions. Did you know that you do that? Did you know that every story you've ever told about yourself, you've put yourself into one of those roles? Maybe the innocent bystander. We do this stuff unconsciously, and knowing what we're up to and observing ourselves in a presence practice, to be able to observe ourselves, to be able to locate our own motivation, to be able to understand what is currently motivating me, and why am I having this conversation? Why am I having this conversation with this person? Why am I having this conversation with that person? Why am I having this conversation? Am I trying to find a rescuer to my victimhood? Am I trying to be superior? Why am I telling this story? What happened at the restaurant? Well, I came in and I stopped the waiter because the waiter almost got, oh, you're the hero. Nice. Well, I got my steak and they didn't cook it right. And so I sent it back and then they brought it back and it was bad steak again. Oh, you're the victim. Nice. Well, I was at the restaurant and I was watching these 2 couples go at it. And one of them said this and they just sat there on the phones. And then they started getting up and fighting. Oh, you're the judge. Nice. Did you know you did that? So all this stuff is just unconscious. I didn't know I was triangulating my parents. I was surviving. I was keeping my addiction and my bad behavior alive. You can't stop it, Dad. Mom will block you. When I'm playing the victim, I just don't want to face pain. And I want someone to take that pain away from me, and it's natural. I want someone to protect me. So I find a lawyer, and I say, speak for me. But I got to convince that lawyer of my case first. I got to get him on retainer. I got to tell him my side of the story. It's always very one-sided, by the way. I neglect to mention all the things that I've done to cause this. And I convince the other person that I've done nothing. And there you go. I do it just as a human. It's fun stuff. By the way, you can look this, if you want to study further, I'll just quote Eric Berne in Transactional Analysis, a book called The Games People Play, or Stephen Cartman's Drama Triangle. And, you know, what I gather is this started happening when people came back from Vietnam. People started coming back from the war, and they were in a lot of pain, and they were oppressed, and there was a lot of rescuers that came into play. The triangle's created. It's been around forever, I'm sure. But that's what we're doing here. We say family first. What we're doing is breaking up the triangle. That's exactly what we're doing here. We have to first convince the families that we're not the oppressor and that we're worthy and we don't need to be backed off and we can hold your loved one accountable. You have to give us that. And then the loved one calls and says, rescue me, they're oppressing me. And then the family goes, no, not buying it this time. And they hang up. Not going to bail you out of this one. They hang up. It's the hardest thing the family ever has to do. So we're breaking up the triangle. That's what we're doing. There is no oppressor. It was all made up. You made it up.
All right, Carrie, let's go. Let's go again. Let's unmute you.
You want me just to punch bundle and end it all?
Oops.
He's beating it out.
Was that an option?
Yeah, he's right here.
So I think we occasionally make progress with the triangle. So what's the dialogue or the language when the triangle gets hooked back up again?
Well, I don't generally know if in your family it is. I don't think that there's any rescuing going on. I think that I just don't believe that. If I'm hard on Bundle here and I give it to him real good and punish him a little bit and take him through something, he doesn't call you and say Big Bad Art is oppressing me.
No.
Now, on the other hand, when his girlfriend is oppressing him,
He calls Art.
there's a call to make. So rescuing doesn't have to. It's not blanketing every area. There's just certain areas that still get you. There's still certain areas where he needs his lawyer.
And is that you?
No, you're the lawyer. You're the lawyer.
A lawyer hasn't had many calls lately. Well, lawyer hasn't had any calls lately.
Lay low.
Which I've kind of taken as a good sign.
We'll see.
So
I mean, his name is Bundle. I mean, if that ain't a mystery, I don't know what is. How do you figure out a bundle? It's a fucking bundle. It just, by definition, it's all bundled up. You know? So he's just this little bundle of bullshit. We have to, you know, we're still sifting through it. We'll get back to you. You know?
I'm all ears.
Yes, we'll get back to you. You know? You know?
I mean, is there a dialogue that you have with the crew when you see behaviors kind of resurface? I mean, is there like a code word or?
Well, we tell them they're being a victim, but they don't like that one because then it makes them more of a victim because I told them they're being a victim. So that one's tricky. If you tell someone they're being a victim, then they're a victim to you telling them they're being a victim. And someone that wants to play the victim, they don't want out. They want to play the victim. So there's a trick there. What do you do? If you ever notice somebody that's in pain and is in victim mode and feeling sorry for themselves and feeling like they're getting the short end of the stick, if you'll notice, there is no solution that suits them. They don't know what they want. They don't have a solution that suits them. So,
Well, or sometimes the solution just hard work and they know what the solution is, but like you said earlier, that's hard work.
yeah, maybe, but I also think that that's true, but I don't think that would be a deterrent if they actually wanted a solution.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, if you really wanted out of your validation that you're seeking.
Yeah.
You see, when we're not feeling good, we like to pull the world in.
Make everyone else feel.
So we like to pull the world in. And we know, and we've had a powerful, we have a powerful effect on folks. So when we're not going good, we go silent, we shut down, and we go inside of ourselves. And we know that's going to pull the world towards us.
What's wrong?
That's going to pull in the rescuers.
Yeah.
And so we have a power move there. And now it makes us feel powerful and strong. And so when we don't feel validated, there's a move. I shut down, I isolate, I get it, and then I bring the world to me. And the world will come to you.
Yeah.
Because that's this world. That's the current climate of the world. When you do that, people actually give a shit. And they say things like, what's wrong? And they come to you. And that works nowhere else.
Yeah. Do they give a shit?
They generally probably do.
Yeah.
But
But
they
it's not
come to you,
helping.
they come to you to try to help,
It's not.
but you don't want solutions. You just want the validation of how big your problems are.
Yeah.
So now you just stay in the problem. But now you've gotten rewarded because somebody else acknowledges that you're in the problem, then it's difficult.
You're not trying to find a way out.
And you're not trying to find a way out because you don't want a way out. You want to be in the problem.
You love the problem.
You love the problem. It's a great opportunity of this problem.
Look at all these
And you
people
can
that
capitalize on it. You see, look what happened to me. And I think this is one of the first times, and I mean, I don't know if it is. Maybe they were doing this in the 50s or the 60s or whatever. People were doing it.
They just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but see, the problem in the 50s and 60s is the guy had to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so if he tried to pull the world in, yeah, but he's still got to go function at his job. So like the show wears off.
Yeah.
Because I got to go to work.
And if you're not working, you're not.
If you're not working, you're not surviving. And also, you gave your word and said you'd be there.
Yeah.
So now you got to deal with that.
It sucks. You gotta be there.
I mean, I just imagine my father. I don't know how he did it. I'm not even the same as my father, but I know that he didn't miss work for 35 years.
None of mine.
So either he never went through any problems,
Or he's none of that.
or he dealt with them.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be stuck in a problem because he had to go to work. So he solved it.
Yeah.
See?
Even when my dad retired, he's got
Yeah.
another job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stick.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And then he sent me here and he got another job.
Yeah.
He started doing weekend work.
This is tough stuff. This is actually down to the core and the fabric of America. This is what we are about. What are we going to be about? Or do we just stay in our victimhood until somebody destroys our country? Until we destroy our country. Yeah.
What happens when people stop co-signing for your?
Beautiful. When people stop co-signing for our shit, well, they automatically become the enemy of the victim.
Yeah.
The relationship isn't so good anymore.
Yeah.
You see?
Then you gotta feel it.
Yeah. Well, when enough people stop co-signing, you'll get better. Imagine if everyone around you said, no, not here.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear it.
But usually, what happens? They just find someone else.
They'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever heard the quote, strong men?
Oh, yeah. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Yeah. What are we doing?
Weak men.
I'm just putting the camera.
Yep. Weak men make hard times. Yeah.
Hard times.
Yeah. What's going on?
I was just putting the.
Oh.
You know, his parents
What time is
were-
it?
I knew that, like,
It's got to be close to
hear their
closing
son
down, right?
talk.
Okay.
Keep the camera.
Well, come on, I could take another question. We got one more.
Yeah, and while you're thinking about raising your hands, just a couple final things too. Just a reminder: tomorrow night, Vegas parents. We'll see you on Zoom tomorrow night for the Vegas parents. Also, in looking ahead next month, Tuesday, December 5th, watch party. I'll be in town, so would love to see you all. Wednesday, the 6th, we're gonna have a special moms group in person at 11 a.m. So all of you local moms, mark your calendars, more information to come. But we're gonna just gather at Kristen's house, Kristen Fairweather and Lake Taps. We're gonna spend a couple hours together that afternoon, so super excited. Hopefully y'all can make it. And yeah, I think that was
When's
the
next year's auction?
November.
So,
Yeah, I already said.
so
I'm going.
I want to get this in. Pain is the time from event, comment, situation, time from event to acceptance. This is pain. So something doesn't go my way. Something I'm going through is pain. The reason I'm in pain is that I'm not accepting the situation. That I wish what was happening wasn't. That I haven't got to a place where I'm ready to deal with it because I still wish it wasn't happening. And I still feel like I'm victimized by this situation. The moment someone says, this is what's happening, the pain ends. This is what's happening and I have to deal with it. Can't change it. The pain ends. So the moment we say I can't change it, the pain ends. So the quality of a human and the quality of our life and what we're here hopefully to learn is what I do from this time of this event to this time of acceptance. Who do I see about that? Who do I talk to about that? How do I learn to shorten this time? How do I learn to get to a place where an event happens that's not too awesome in my life, and I get to the point where I say, I can't change it, and I must deal with it. And how long does that take? And the strength of a human being will be how long that this process is allowed. The stronger you are, the shorter it is. And the worse you are at dealing with pain, the more havoc you're going to cause, the more disruption, the more pulling of the world, the more getting people to co-sign, the more gaining ground from your problems, the more identified from your problems, the more you're going to suck people in to listen to your bullshit. But guess what? At some point, you're just going to accept. And at that point, it's over.
Goes away.
There's nothing to talk about. You know there's nothing to talk about. You know there's zero to talk about. But you'll see what you were up to in talking about it. You'll see that what you were up to was seeking validation for your problems rather than your values. Seeking validation from your weaknesses rather than your strengths. Used to be a man in America, had zero time from this to this. Right? Man wasn't talking about his weaknesses and his problems. In fact, you were less of a man if you, that might not be good, I'm not saying that's good, but you were less of a man if you talked about any of your problems. You just didn't speak about them. You just handled them. So, you do what you want. You do what you want in this time. But just understand that this is a time where you can't handle your pain, you're not accepting your pain, and you are now dumping it on other people. You're affecting negatively people's lives around you. You're not giving, you're taking.
Energy.
You're not giving energy,
Yeah.
You're not providing energy, You're sucking energy. And you want people to provide energy to you. And that's what's happening. And you can dice it up and you can cut it and you can try to explain it any way you want to explain it. Which when you get better, it'll be right after the point that you accept it. This happened, and I must deal with it. And in fact, I don't need no one coming in and helping me deal with it. Because that would weaken me. And my difficulties in life are how I grow. And that's it. So please stay out of my pain. Please don't take it away.
It's like it weakens you, but it makes you feel stronger.
What, when you're Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people.
So please, now it's harsh. Somebody comes to you in pain, they tell you their story. Boy, it's tough to see the truth. Boy, it's tough to tell that person to buck up. And you might feel like a bad guy. You might feel like a real mean person. And they might run from you. They might try to get away from you. Oh well. You didn't hurt them. Hopefully, you told them to stretch.
Not too hard though.
Yeah. Stretch. You know what you need to do? You need to stretch so you can handle more pain. And you need to stay away from people that tell you that handling pain is a tough business, because it ain't. It's the only business. Handling pain is what makes us who we are. That's it. So to not want more of it, you're a fool. All right. Today was a rant. By the way,
Go ahead. Hey, Lisa. I think it's Lisa. It says Mark, but I think it's Lisa. Maybe it's both. Oh, let's get you unmuted again. We somehow.
Remember she used to have the cat?
We gotta unmute. There you go.
Yeah.
Can we hear you?
Yeah.
Hey there. We can't see
So-
you, but we can hear you.
So are people, when people are going through things, are they not supposed to ask for help? I guess that's my question.
well, are they asking for help? That's the question. If you give them the solution, do they take it and run with it? I found a lot of people asking me for help, but well, never asking me for help. So that's the question you got to ask, if they take it or not. And you keep giving solutions and they keep turning them down. Are you helping? She went away.
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
about what you're saying because
Well, it's a very fine line. Somebody might say they're asking you for help, but what they want is sympathy. And the question is, does sympathy help? Has sympathy ever helped you?
I don't know if sympathy helps. Maybe empathy can help. I don't know. Relating to other people can help, I think.
It can help the person who's doing it. So if I can be empathetic with somebody, I could forgive them. That could be helpful. You know? And maybe sometimes you want to be heard, you want somebody to give you an oh. But I don't know how helpful it is. I know it feels better to have empathetic people around. I don't know how many Navy SEAL instructors are very empathetic, but I know they get the job done. And they create a stronger human. I don't know where empathy comes in with the Navy SEAL instructor. They teach people to handle pain. They create a strong human. But I don't know where empathy would come into play in that. And if we were to say that one of our problems and why we're here is that we can't handle pain, then we almost need that Navy SEAL instructor that'll force us to handle pain without drug use. And then the question becomes, is there ever too much?
Too much what?
Are you ever holding somebody accountable for so much pain that you're now the cause of their relapse? You see? And the answer to that is they were going to relapse anyways.
Yeah, I just think that you can hold people accountable without being a Navy SEAL. But that's, I mean, I think you can hold people accountable. They can be accountable for themselves.
Yeah, come on down. Show me how to do it. So, I mean, I find it's a fine line. I don't know. Sometimes it's required. Sometimes accountability is wanted. And then sometimes you feel like an asshole. So I don't know.
Super serious.
But definitely if you begin the process of really working an effort and trying to hold people accountable, definitely what you'll find is that people villainize you for it. You'll find it. Bobby Knight got fired.
Great basketball coach. Yeah.
Well, he was the greatest of all time until society changed and said now he's too hard on people.
Yeah. Threw a couple chairs.
You know, so I don't know.
Hey, Sam, I saw you
Hey.
trying to raise your hand. Hey.
Yeah, I was just thinking about tonight's discussion, and I kind of see this triangle as a vicious circle. I think that I've felt like the oppressor, and then I felt bad about being the oppressor, so I become the rescuer, and then I get victimized when I'm the rescuer and go back to being the oppressor.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now you're in it. Now you're in it, Sam. That's it right there. That's the see, he looks like a nice kid right there, don't he?
Yeah, you don't know him.
Here's the other room right here.
Yeah. But I do feel like over the 10 years I've been dealing with this, and I hadn't thought about it till you talked about it tonight, but I've been in this circle of all three of those.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the trick of it. It's these unconscious things, these roles we play, and they're constantly switching, and we go from perpetrator to victim to rescuer, and
maybe it's because we're only feeling about ourselves and we're not logically feeling about maybe the right thing to do. We're feeling about how it makes us feel.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly. No, it's not maybe, Sam. That's exactly right. Because now you're doing behavior that makes you feel better. Whether when you're victimized, you're yelling at the person and whining, telling them and getting your anger out, which makes you feel better to vent on them. Whether you're rescuing them so you get a chance to be in their life again because they haven't let you be in their life again and you haven't got any contact with them. And now they're only giving you this one opportunity. And they're basically saying, I'll let you be back in my life if you come pay me. So now you do that. And there's just, and all of it's to take your own pain away.
Right.
Because the reality is the only way out for you is to be able to sit in your own pain.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm done rescuing, so I'll stick with the other two.
Yeah. Time to do a little victimizing.
Yeah. Let me be the victim for a change.
Mama Bundle right there. She's gonna join you. She's doing it all. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff tonight, guys.
Classic solution.
That's good. I love it when we get participation like that. That was great, you guys. Thanks for adding to the conversation.
Part of this whole process, this process of recovery, is the process of understanding, and it's the process of seeing yourself, and it's the process of seeing what you are up to. It's the process of really understanding how you get in these predicaments and what has happened, and to be able to, this is the way out. Awareness, consciousness, presence, to be able to witness myself, to be able to get outside of me and my feelings and see the truth, to see the sanity, to get into the sanity. It says in the second step of a 12-step group, it says we came to believe a power greater than ourselves would restore us to sanity. Well, that's what this is. That's getting up above ourselves and looking down at our own behavior and getting honest with it and saying, this is what I did. And looking back now, I'm aware of what I did. And I'm aware of that harm that it caused. Wait, had another one?
We do. I didn't want to interrupt.
Little overtime. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer. How are you?
Good.
This has been really good. I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my own, how I'm showing up in this, right? And what I need to own it. And it reminds me of something I learned along the way, and I just thought I would share it. Because for me, how I was showing up as a rescuer, it took me a while to figure out. It was because I felt like I was failing, and I tried everything so badly to not allow my son to show up like how his father grew up. And so when I started to realize that I was reacting out of my own personal interest instead of like standing back and saying no is healthy. It was me preserving my own pain.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. But once I could identify with what was driving my own behavior, it helped me to change and to show up differently. It didn't mean it was gone. It definitely just set the trajectory on a different path, which ultimately has been a good thing.
Yeah, this is so natural and so quick that without complete awareness of yourself, you'll be back in it before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be happening in real time, and you won't see it, and it'll be all day, and it's all the time, and even here in this house, I'm in the triangle too, and I'm always part of a one triangle with somebody, and there's a drama triangle existing in this house right now, and people just got to look, and you'll see it, and you'll see who's the victims, and you'll see who's the perpetrator, and you'll see who's the oppressor currently, and they try to triangulate. Sometimes the big bad managers are the oppressor. And then the clients come to me about how they've been victimized by the managers, and they try to get me to be the rescuer. And they try to say, tell so-and-so to stop doing what they're doing. And they try to grab me in. And sometimes I get in and go, oh, somebody's being oppressed. I need to talk to the managers. They must be screwing up. And so it only can be cured with complete awareness and a constant practice of awareness. And it's not just it's not a curable disease, because it just keeps popping up. It goes into remission and then comes back, and I can be tired and be a victim, and I can be energetic and want to be a rescuer. See, when I'm energetic and happy, I'm more likely to be a rescuer. When
it definitely takes an everyday practice, right?
Yeah, when I'm tired, I'm more likely to be a victim. But if I got a lot of energy and somebody goes, all right, I need you to do this for me, I'm like, hell yeah. What do you mean Jolie won't let you go to the Wild Water Park? We're going to go.
You going to that shitty bowling alley?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're taking you to the bad bowling alley. We're going to the good one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean she got you Little Caesars? I'll get the pizza this time. It's awesome. Well, thanks for sticking around, everyone. We're going to get back to our little fishbowl here. We're in the laboratory down here. So we're coming to you live from the laboratory, and these groups come out of the laboratory. It's a scientific study that we're doing around here. We got all the gerbils, and and I'm the mad scientist, and you're getting a glimpse in, and
We're the gerbils.
you're the gerbils, the mice. I like that one study they did where the guy came out and now he knows everything about addiction because they studied rats.
Yeah, they gave rats cocaine.
Yeah, that guy thinks
What?
everything you've ever heard about addiction is wrong. We studied rats.
What?
Really? You're an idiot.
Drugs and
Yeah.
drugs, and they chose the drugs.
Yeah. We've concluded by studying rats that drugs are really good. Hey, nice study. Yeah.
I like the
Anyways.
Colombian cocaine better than the.
Yeah.
This was great, everybody. We'll see
Yeah.
you at 11 a.m. And just a reminder, all you local people to Kent, join Bill and Becky Wiggins next week in person. So much greater in person, or we'll see you on Zoom. So we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night.